This is my 1999 Yamaha R6 that I bought as spares or repairs. In the last video, I discovered that the engine is actually seized. I couldn't turn it by hand with the rear wheel being in gear, and I couldn't turn it with the starter motor either. So hopefully in this video, I'll find out exactly what's wrong with it. So let's get it in the workshop and take a closer look. Some of you might be wondering why the tank is being propped up by a tub of hand wipes, and that is simply because there is a little bit of fuel left in it from, well, when I bought it, and with it in the fully down position it tended to leak a little bit because I disconnected the fuel lines. So I just popped that in there to stop fuel from going everywhere in my absence. And that's another thing you're probably wondering about. My absence last Sunday, there was no video. And that is because I ended up in hospital with food poisoning, believe it or not. They genuinely thought my appendix had exploded due to the amount of pain that I was in. It felt like someone was like, you know, like when you wring out a flannel, it felt like someone was doing that with my insides, and it was very, very unpleasant. So I'm all better now. Don't worry. Antibiotics killed the bug. And, oh, great. That is leaking petrol out on the desk. Why didn't I just stand it up like that? Okay, that would have made way more sense. But yeah, so I'm okay. I'm all good. Thank you ever so much to everyone that said get well soon and stuff in the video that I put out last week, which was me fixing a generator, not a motorbike, but still a 4-stroke engine. So it's actually quite a good video, if you ask me. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Right, I'm faffing around. What I'm going to do is take the carburetors off and first inspect the valves to see if any of those are bent. Then I think I might take off the side cover on that side and see if we can actually turn the engine with a big bar. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I won't. Also, might take off the cover on this side to see if I can see anything obvious with why the starter motor can't turn the pulley gear that it's turning when you activate it. Waffling on. Okay, let's sort this out. Put this down so it's not leaking, and then crack on. And I'm not quite ready to show you my unicycling just yet. All in good time. I know there's been a lot of people asking, oh, come on, show us your unicycling. Nope, not ready. I need the blue paper, which is just by the camera over there. Okay, carry the tank to the blue paper, and then that works, doesn't it? There we go. Okay, clean up the petrol mess I've made. And put tank there. Is that safe? There we go. Safe as houses. Right, let's bring you in a bit closer so you can see what I'm doing in here. This is grubby. Okay, as you can see, the carburetors are very grubby. So let's get them out of here so I can actually see what I'm doing in there. I want to have a look basically down the trumpets at the valves, but it's going to be much easier to look without the carburetors in the way. First off, let's disconnect this fuel line and anything else that might be connected to them. There'll be little clamps on each carburetor at the bottom holding them to the actual engine, and then hopefully they should wriggle out without too much drama. It does look like they're quite a tight fit. Right, so the throttle cables are down on this side by the looks of things, and there is a choke cable attached in there somewhere as well, so let's get stuck in. It looks like the easiest thing to get to first is the choke cable, so I'm going to undo that screw, take the bracket out, and then I should be able to get that out of the little thing that's holding it in. That shouldn't be too difficult. The throttle cables are down here. So just there, if you can see them, if the camera will focus, there we go. They're attached to that coil thing there. So again, if I can get my hands in there, oh, look, there's my fingers. That shouldn't be too difficult to release those. So we'll get them out first. Don't actually need to take that screw all the way out, I don't think. Should be able to, yeah, that just loosens the cable from the clamp, and then, hey, bingo. Right, one choke cable disconnected. So I managed to just about get to the, well, the middle two clamps that are holding these on, and I kind of just gave up trying to find the end ones and just give it a good tug. Right, so these have definitely been off before, because you've got, well, I'll show you once I get them off, but you've got 3 clamps that are facing one way and 1 clamp that's facing the opposite way. Let's disconnect that before it gets broken. And these security bolts. I've shown you this little kit before, and it is the most used little set of screwdriver bits I've ever owned in my life. It just seems to have everything you need, and a little ratchet spanner. It's going to be easier to disconnect from the plug. Yes, because its position is probably quite critical, isn't it? That's easier said than done. I get the feeling this bike is going to be an absolute nightmare. Right, that's off. I'm going to tighten that back up before I forget. I only loosened one of them. That's probably the throttle position sensor, isn't it? Okay, well, that's loose now. Let's pull this hose off of there. Now, what's still attached? Many things. So you've got the idle adjuster thingy there. That needs to come out. That is some sort of water hose. Is that going to spray me with water when I take it out? Yep, a little bit. That is coolant, and that is going everywhere. So, oh, should probably drain the coolant. Oh, not for now. Let's just make a mess. Right. What else is attached? There's another coolant hose there underneath, because obviously you've got the anti-icing water cooling on the carburetors. You can't actually see what I'm doing, but underneath here there is a water pipe that I'm trying to pull off without snapping anything. Right, now hopefully the only things left attached are the throttle cables, which I thought might be easier to detach once I'd removed the carbs. So as you can see, what I was trying to say about the clamps, the 4 clamps here, I just couldn't see them. I kind of had to feel where they were, and they are Allen key heads, not screws, which I discovered. At least I can see the valves now. Right, I'll get these out of the way and then get you in here so you can see. You can't see this, but I didn't realize these are full of fuel, and now the floor is covered in fuel. There you go. It wouldn't be an Ash Roland video if there wasn't coolant or fuel or oil or something on the floor. Hopefully this is a bit of a better camera angle for you. There's really not a lot of room in here, so just need to undo the 2 nuts that are holding these throttle cable clamp things in place. Once they're undone enough, they should come out like that, and then you can get the cable out. Now there's 2 cables. You've got 1 pull and 1 push, so doing that one is the same as doing this one. Actually, it's a bit easier with the second one because you've got nothing pulling or pushing against it. I still need to undo it from there though. And as you can see, it's not in the best condition. It's quite kind of rusty and corroded, rather crusted on there. You can tell this hasn't been off for a long time. It's one of the worst sets of carbs I've ever had to take off. And then again, I remember doing my Thundercat, which is the predecessor to this bike, and that was a nightmare as well. Maybe it's a Yamaha thing. Maybe manufacturers just think, the carbs don't have to ever come off. Most reliable fuel delivery system ever. What are you chatting about, mate? So sometimes I like to record things like this, so you can see how much kind of almost like behind the scenes recording there actually is, and how long it actually takes to do things, because a 20-minute video could actually include a few days worth of work. Come on, don't you come? There we go. Right, now we can get them out of the way. Ta-da! Woo! Just grab a bit more blue paper and just mop up the fuel that is everywhere. Okay, so here, this weird rubber mat thing is kind of new for me. I've not seen anything like that before. I don't know really what's the idea of that. Is that standard? Or is someone just put a big rubber mat thing in there? Well, it comes out quite easily. Stuck on something down here. What are you stuck on? I want you out. You're in my way. Oh my gosh, it goes around the coolant fitting down here as well. Mental. It's like some sort of drip tray. Or maybe it's like waterproofing. Maybe it's like a, yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it? Like some sort of waterproof cover to stop water getting in the engine and stuff. I kind of, look, as you can see, this is filthy and I want to clean it properly. Don't lose them. Let's take them off. Okay, so I couldn't undo that one. I couldn't undo that one. So I just undid the middle two and yanked the carbs and they came out. These rubbers are still rubber, which is a nice thing I don't normally experience. Normally these are turned to plastic by the time I get here. As you can see, coolant is absolutely weeing out the bottom. I can't quite figure out where it's coming from. And I'm obviously in no desperate urgent rush to solve that problem. I've lost my bucket. That's what's happened. You disappear for 2 weeks and then you can't find anything. Where's my orange bucket? Ah, panic. Where is it even leaking from? There's a water tube there. Okay, right, I need to find something. Right, I decided to pull a radiator hose off. Uh-oh. There we go. Now I have a mess to clean up. As per usual. That looks like pretty clean coolant though, which is nice. And I noticed something earlier. The date on the rear tyre is 2023, so it's only a couple of years old. So this bike was being used up until quite recently. Probably as a track bike. Let's clean this mess up and get back to what I'm supposed to be doing, which is finding out why this engine is seized. After a little bit of a cleanup, I managed to get this rubber thing out of my way. It was actually trapped between the engine and the cam chain tensioner, which is down there, which is why I'm holding this Allen key, because I had to loosen it to get it out. So not really sure what's going on with that, to be honest. And it doesn't even it's got holes in, which don't even line up with kind of the way it was on there. I think it had been put on the wrong way round anyway, so whatever. Right, now we can actually see the valve, so let's get you in there and show you whether they're bent or not. Why? Why have you done that, you stupid? So cylinder, let's start with cylinder 4. You're gonna focus on the valves, or are you just gonna not? Oh, there we go. That looks pretty straight, as does that one. They don't look horrendous. They don't look very clean, but they don't look bent. Cylinder 2, again, these ones are slightly open. Obviously that's the firing order that it was in. They look okay. And cylinder 1, yeah, upon initial visual inspection, they look all right, don't they? So that's obviously the inlet valves. We can't really see the exhaust valves. Next, what I'm going to do is pop out the leads and the spark plugs and get a camera down into the cylinder bores. As the winter months draw on and close in, or whatever the saying is, I've obviously got no light whatsoever to be able to work with outside. Oh, come on. So I'm having to make do in the dark with whatever lights I can find. Okay, let's get these out of my way. Out you come. 1, 2, 3, 4. I would normally label them, but hard to get that wrong, really, given that it's wired in so nicely. Just kind of leave them there for now. That'll be all right. Okay, let's get a socket in there and remove the spark plugs. Oh, we'll also be able to see if there's any damage on the end of the spark plugs, if, like, I don't know, the cylinders have hit them. Not the cylinders, sorry, pistons. What am I doing? Oh yeah, socket. What size do we think? Oh, bye. Not that size. So that was a 15. I'm going to try a 17, which actually doesn't fit in the hole. Let's try 16. Hey, there we go. Now these are actually thin-walled sockets, and I remember from, I think it was the GPZ or the Thundercat, I needed to get some thin-walled sockets to be able to get down there to undo the spark plug. So just FYI, a normal sized thick wall socket won't actually fit. Oh, that's tight. Well, getting the spark plug out is going to be a bit of a challenge. Needle nose pliers, maybe? Well, those years of training in operation finally paying off. This is frustrating. All right, I'm going to move these air duct things. They're annoying and in my way. Okay, that's much easier. Yay, I got a spark plug out. Doesn't look too bad. Looks a bit black, but doesn't look like it's been hit by anything. All right, I'm going to get the rest of these out. Probably do it off camera because else this video is going to be 3 days long. And then we'll get the camera in there. I know I went on about my amazing thin-walled sockets, but this spark plug remover with the rubber bit that holds the spark plug in place from Halfords actually fit. This is the 10mm one. I don't know what dimension that 10mm is referring to, but it fits these spark plugs, and I was able to get them out with it because I couldn't get my needle nose pliers in the 2-end cylinder bores. There we have the 4 spark plugs from cylinder 1 on the left, 4 on the right, 2 and 3 in the middle, obviously. They look all right. They don't look battered by a piston, and yeah, they're a bit black, but I don't think these are giving us any sort of indication as to why the engine is seized. Now, I doubt very much if this is gonna give us any sort of knowledge. No, it's not. I'm gonna have to get the Borescope or endoscope or whatever you want to call it out. Okay, let's do that. Apologies for the poor quality. This is a very old little camera that I'm using, but does the job. In we go. Okay, we have a small problem. The little camera is too big to fit through that threaded hole, so I can't really use this to see inside the cylinders. Okay, I've just taken the little cover off the end of the camera and I'm able to get it through the hole, kind of. It's not really, I don't want to push it all the way through because I might not be able to get it out. But if I can get it down a cylinder bore that's down, then we might be able to see something. Oh, there we go. Well, that looks alright, doesn't it? A lot of people in the comments are suggesting that the pistons might be cracked or the cylinders might be cracked. That looks alright. Okay, that's cylinder 3. Well, chamber 3 or whatever you want to call it. Numero 20. That one looks alright as well, really, doesn't it? I can't get in there and look at the actual bores, sadly, because like I said, my camera's not good enough. But I'm not seeing anything too drastic in there. Cylinder, piston 1, whatever, cylinder, piston, whatever. The piston is too close. You can't really focus on it. Yeah, still none the wiser. So this is my rather old depth stitch Borescope camera. It's done me well. It's a wireless one. It connects to the phone like wirelessly. However, I might look into getting a newer, slightly better one that has a bit of more of a flexible head. As you can see, that's actually quite long and quite big. I'm sure there's some smaller, better ones on the market. Maybe I'll get in touch with Depth Stitch and see what they have to offer. I am now going to drain the oil out because I want to take a couple of the side covers off to get access to the timing chain and the starter gearing stuff. So let's do that and hopefully not make too much of a mess. That was the sound of, I'm not going to do it again now, is it? Glove made a squeaking sound. There you go. If you're new to the channel, then welcome. This is the part where I normally get oil everywhere. But I reckon this time, yeah, no, it's just all over my hands. That's all. That's very dirty oil. It's very kind of black and thick. Okay, I'm in a bit of a mess. Oil all over my hands. But I've got gloves on, which is a first. So while that's draining, I'm going to remove this here. And, well, I might as well just remove this whole cover and then see what state the timing chain is in. Okie doke. Let's get this off of here. Okay, the clutch cable can just kind of sit there. For now, it's not really in the way. I wonder if these screws are all the same size. They look to be. Sometimes you need to make sure that longer ones go where they came from and shorter ones went where they came from. Like for that example, for example, now that one up there slightly longer than the other ones. So I've got to remember that. This is why I make the videos. Also, the other one at the top is slightly longer as well. But all the others are the same size. I wonder how long this one in the middle is. Oh, the one in the middle has a different head and a copper washer attached to it. Will that come off now? I should probably get like a drip tray or something because it's probably going to leak a little bit of oil, isn't it? Oh, no oil came out. That's good, isn't it? I didn't make a mess for once. Okie doke. Well, that looks pretty good. Chain's not broken. Tensioner feels tensioned. Shall I see if I can actually turn it by hand using a wrench on there? A ratchet, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, let's try that. What size do you reckon that is? 12 mil? 12? Yes. All right. Okay. Which way round does it go? At the minute, neither. That is stuck. Right, I'm just going to loosely put this back on for now so I don't have to try and remember where the bolts went. As long as I remember to put the longer ones in the 2 holes in the top, then we should be all right. Now I noticed that one was loose when I undid it and the thread is ripped out, so that's going to need a helicoil in it. But that is a future Ash problem. They're all it back in there. Let's go around to the other side. Okay, on this side, I'm going to remove this cover because this inside here has the gear that connects to the starter motor spindle. And that we know won't turn whatever's inside here. So let's pop this off and have a look, see if there's anything obvious in here. First off, I'm going to move this bottle out of my way because, well, it's not really in the way, but it's kind of in my way. And I've already drained the coolant out. Oh, okay. Obviously, there's a little bit of coolant left in there. Oh, I'm splashing myself with antifreeze. Okay, right. That is now out of my way. Now I just need to undo the series of bolts around here and that cover will come off. So far, all these bolts have been the same size. I think this is the last one. Yep, they are all the same length, so that is handy information. Now will this come off? Yes. Are we ready, folks? Oh, okay. Not sure if that was supposed to fall out. Well, that's the gear that connects to the starter motor. So that's the starter clutch gear there, which spins around quite freely that way, but obviously not the other way because it can't turn the crankshaft. So we still don't know why this won't turn. And I'm a bit confused as to why this is just loose. Oh, wait a minute. It wouldn't be loose, would it? It would. There we go. It would sit on there. Okay, cool. So ignore me. That's obviously nothing to do with the problem. And the teeth on it look pretty good. That is not the cause of our problem. Can I unplug the other end of this to move this out of the way? Yes. Yes, I can. Can I get the plug out of the tiny little gap? Yes. Yes, I can. What do you reckon? Bent rod? So on this side, you've got a big 19mm bolt there going in the crankshaft. And on the other side, if you remember, there's a 12mm bolt. Now, the engine's obviously designed to rotate the crankshaft one way, and this obviously wants to go anti-clockwise. Well, I know that because the starter clutch goes clockwise, and it needs to go that way, because as you can see, there's just free that way, won't turn the other way. So maybe I can turn this clockwise, which will turn the engine the opposite way that it's supposed to go, maybe unseizing it. Oh! Yes! It's rotating. And it's going a full rotation. Okay. I was not expecting that. So we can turn it clockwise. Oh my gosh. I was not expecting that. Can I turn it the other way now? Because obviously if I turn it anti-clockwise on there, it'll undo the bolt. With, oh, right, I'm stuck. I cannot go any more than that. So is that, let's mark this so we can see, because if we can get a full rotation, okay, there's the dot there. Keep an eye on that dot. Going round. That's a full rotation. So it's quite happy to rotate clockwise. But won't go the anti-clockwise direction that it's supposed to go. So I go back around the other side. And it gets stuck there. Interesting. I'll tell you what we'll do. I'll rotate this. And we'll have a look down the cylinder bores to see if the pistons are going up and down. In fact, you can look at the cylinder bores to see if they're going up and down. Sorry, the picture quality is not very good. You're currently looking in cylinder 3. I'm rotating the thing, and that cylinder is going up and down. Okay, let's move you to cylinder. Right, now you're in cylinder 2. Sorry, this is very archaic. All right, you're in cylinder 2. Can you see the piston? Yeah, there's the piston. Up it comes, down it goes. Now you're in cylinder 1. Cylinder going down. Sorry, piston going down, piston coming up. Yep. Let's have a look in number 4 then. That one's going up as well. So why won't the engine turn the other way around? Right, I've put the bike in 6th gear. There's obviously no spark plugs in, which will aid with the compression. And I can turn this backwards. Yeah. This is hard work. But when I try and move it forwards, it gets stuck. You get stuck there. So there is definitely something drastically wrong inside the engine. It's quite happy to rotate one way, but not the other. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the exhaust manifold off and remove the sump so we can see the bottom. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I mean, can't get any worse, can it? We've made progress though. First up, let's get a load of penetrant into these header bolts, because the last thing I want to do today, or any day, to be honest, is snap a manifold bolt. That's it. Okay, I'm going to go grab some food and leave that to soak. It would seem the exhaust back box isn't really attached very well, so I'm going to undo that bolt, releasing it from the rear passenger foot peg, and then I reckon it will very easily come off. So 17mm spanner lying around somewhere. Aha. And it's not even 17. As I suspected, not even a clamp on it. Brilliant. Next up, let's tackle these manifold bolts. Turn my light back on so I can see what I'm doing. 12mm. How many are going to snap, guys? What do you think? Edge your bets now. Edge your bets or hedge your bets? Hedge. I don't know. Hedge your bets. I think that's the saying. Now I think I might be able to get to these without having to remove the radiator. These are very rusty. It's such a scary sound when you're doing something like this. Snap. Do you know what? It's the first time that's ever happened to me, and it was bound to happen, wasn't it? If you could see how rusty these were, you'd know it was to be expected. I think this one's going as well. Yep. Oh boy. Oh my gosh. Well, it's got to come off, hasn't it? So it is what it is. That's 3 broken studs. This is going to make for a very interesting video, I think. Well, this one, is this one gonna? That's gonna snap as well. They're all gonna snap. They're just too rusty. Ooh, that one didn't snap. It is what it is. Oh gosh. That's another one. So how many is that? 4 snapped. Out of 8. That's a 50% success rate. Now I only loosened the 2 on the other side, so. Well, there we go. 4 nuts off, 4 nuts snapped. Well, the nuts didn't snap, the studs snapped. Right, that should, well, it should come off now. I think I've undone them all. There we go. Oh, it is, no, it's got another bolt in the middle bit, but it's off the front. So that's, well, success. Now that's out the way, I can see what I need to undo to get this sump off, and it is just a series of Allen keys. Well, it's not a series of Allen keys, it's a series of cap head screws, which require an Allen key to undo. So let's go get the tool. Oh, did you hear that? That was my back. Yes. Oh, that's... Oh, ow. This is going to go wrong, isn't it? I just know it's going to go wrong. Right. Actually, it's top tip time. If you're struggling to undo these, get the end in, get a spanner. That gives you a bit more leverage on the end. There we go. Because of the thick head that I've got on these, you can't get them in snappy snappy. Well, not snappy snappy, hopefully. Hopefully just removey. I might lay these out in the same order that they come out, because there might be different lengths. And I need to know where these brackets go. Oh, that was tight. Now I've made an oily mess on the floor. All right, let's clean that up before I get that in my clothes. Okay, I'm going to go around and undo the rest of these, and then hopefully that will come off. Okay, all the bolts are out, and they are all the same length, and I've laid them out kind of in the orientation that they came off the bike. Just noting this really for myself and anyone that's got to do this job, that one, and that one have different kind of brackets attached to them. So just bear that in mind when putting it back together. Okay, I think if I get a persuader, that will actually tap and come off. I'm going to get a bigger tray because I think there's going to be a bit of oil drippage coming out. Now, unlike the GPZ, this doesn't have a load of oil pipes connected and running around the sump, which is pretty handy. It's quite a nice design. However, there is one electrical cable attached to it, which runs up here and appears to be maybe an oil pressure switch or something like that. Just unplug that, and there we go. That can just come out with the sump. I'm not going to take it out of the sump. It can stay there. Hopefully a bit of tappy and the sump will now drop. I'm wondering if that pressure switch needs to come out. Okay, let's do that. I wonder if there's like a thought, maybe the bolt for the pressure switch just went into the sump, but maybe it goes in a little bit further than that. So the week before I got food poisoning, I actually went on a nice little 3-day holiday with my mate Ant. And here's a clip from that. We went to Benalmádena in Spain. Very nice, very friendly. Right, there's actually 2 bolts holding this sensor in, and I was expecting it to come out. I guess not. Well, it doesn't want to come out. Will this persuade off now, though? Ah, I have missed a bolt. There's another. Oh, should have looked at the drawing, actually. There is one last cuphead screw in the middle here. Cool. It's a tight one as well. I don't think that undid. Nope. Right, gonna have to get a socket on this one. What size is it? I think I just broke this as well. Come on, please. Okay, now the sump is coming down. Oh, that didn't sound good, did it? It's not. The head of this last screw is really trying me. Come on. Okay. Hey. Okay. Oh, wow. That's a big mess. You can't see that. Hold on. No. I'll put that in there, actually. Just such a moron. Look. What I was trying to show you was that there aren't any massive bits of engine in there, which is a good sign. But now I've okay, right, deal with this in a minute. Let's have a look up there in the engine and see if we can find something that looks wrong. Okay, now I'll try and keep this the right way up and try not to get oil on the phone. Oh, this is a dipstick. Look at that. That's fun. Now I can just about see the crankshaft. It's up there. Can I see anything majorly wrong? Right, let's get a ratchet on there and rotate it. I'll tell you what, I'll go around to the other side, rotate it as far the other way as I can, and then laying on this side, we'll rotate and see if we can see anything going on. It's so hard to see anything. Okay, I'm going to rotate and inspect this off camera because I just can't do it with only one pair of hands. If I find anything, I'll let you know. I've just made an interesting discovery. I forgot I'd put it in 6th gear for when I was unseizing it. Right? Now, I've put it in neutral, and I can infinitely turn the engine in the correct direction. That says to me, we've got a gearbox problem. Right, can I see the gears from underneath? No. No, I can't. Unless, well, that's, yeah, so the gearbox is actually a bit higher up. It's like around here somewhere. That is pretty much as I can do without taking the engine out, because I'm 99% sure The problem lies in the gearbox, and to get the gearbox out, well, the gears, I need to basically take the engine out, turn it upside down, and split it apart. And I'm not going to be able to do that in this video or this evening. It might look like daylight because the light from in here is reflecting on there, but it is not. It's very dark and it's very late, and I need to go home. So thank you very much for watching. Basically, the answer is what everyone thought it was going to be. It's knackered. So, yeah, engine out, upside down, further inspection, 99% sure it's the gears. We'll find out in the next video. So again, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. And I will catch you next time, where I might start doing something on the R1 instead. You can see this frame here, which is kind of in my way. So I really need to attach the suspension front and rear to it, so I can at least kind of move it around the workshop and get it out of the way. Anyway, waffling on. Catch you later. Cheers.